Donte DiVincenzo of the New York Knicks. He was our waiver wire cover guy on our YouTube video 2 weeks ago. But the situation has changed after RJ Barrett and Emmanuel Quickley were traded to the Toronto Raptors in exchange for OG Anunoby, which opened up some time. He had a career high, DiVincenzo did, 38 points after the Barrett Quickley trade, but before OG got there. Followed that up with 2 performances where he totaled 26 points, 9 rebounds, 7 assists, 2 steals, and a block in 51 minutes. What it looks like from what we've seen the past couple of games with this Tibbs rotation is that DiVincenzo probably going to see about 6 more minutes than he was before, but that also comes with a bit higher usage. Playing a little bit more backup guard. He's going to handle some more than he was before because Quickley's not there. This might be more of a 14-team ad. I understand in 12-teamers, it's kind of borderline, but he actually ranks 49th in per minute 8-cap production this year. He's playing really well. Fantasy point per minute. So if you're in a points league and you're in a 12-team points league, it's a fine ad. New York only has 3 games next week, so he doesn't make for a great streamer, but he's more of a long-term, I would say longer-term 14-team league option.
Perennial waiver wire ad, Larry Nance of your New Orleans Pelicans. He's rostered in 22% of Yahoo leagues. He's back after a rib injury. He does qualify as a forward and center on both Yahoo and ESPN. As Alex loves to point out, Nance plays better with Zion than Jonas Valanciunas, and we're seeing this as Nance eats into JV's playing time. Pelicans only have 3 games next week, so maybe not ideal to stream this week versus next week. But if you need center help, I've got one league where I'm desperately looking for a backup center. Larry Nance is back and always a solid option.
Good suggestion, Ken. My first waiver wire pickup of the week is a guy we've talked about already this season, Aaron Nesmith, swingman for the Indiana Pacers, 32% rostered on Yahoo. Like I said, we've mentioned him before, but he continues to play better. His roles changed some. So I think he warrants consideration again. He has started the last 5 games for the Pacers. He's been a top 50 player over the past week with averages of 12.5 points, 3.3 3-pointers, 2 steals, and 1 block in 28 minutes per game. Indiana has 4 games next week. Nesmith is never going to, it's highly unlikely he's going to go out there and average 18, 20 points per game, but he does enough of the little stuff, has some steals, some threes mixed in, where it's going to provide solid overall value. The Shane Battier special, I always like to call that. And I think we're going to see that from him for the remainder of the season, or as long as he stays in the Pacers starting lineup. Even before he's promoted to the starter, he was finishing a lot of games for the Pacers. So it's obvious that Rick Carlisle likes Nesmith and will be an important part of the rotation moving forward.
Alex, tell us about another perennial waiver wire person out in Utah.
Well, it's former Celtic, former Piston, Kelly Olynyk.
Former Rocket? Former Rocket?
Former Rocket. Former, I think that's it. Oh, no, Miami.
Oh, yeah. They gave him the big contract after
former Piston?
Former Piston.
I said that.
Yeah.
He and Larry Nance could be the same person, actually.
Yeah.
Canadian Larry Nance, Kelly Olynyk.
If you put them together, they make one really good starter. Utah plays 4 times next week, so that's kind of what's driving a lot of this. Olynyk's a great streaming option. We could say this about Nance as well. Past 14 games for Olynyk. It's a pretty extended stretch here. 9 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists, and a steal for 27 fantasy points in 23 minutes. The minutes fluctuate a lot, but you got a 4-game week, so you're kind of insulated from some variance there. Still one of the best per minute fantasy players in the NBA. They can't quit him, just like we can't quit him. So go ahead and stream him in on your 12-teamers.
You know what this really indicates is just how bad John Collins has been playing for the Jazz. They really wanted to replace Olynyk with John Collins, and they were like, nope, can't do it.
Yeah, it's tough. All right, Kat, who's your second waiver wire pickup?
Another perennial waiver wire person. Both Shannon and I had him listed. Shannon politely deferred to me. Kelly Oubre of your Philadelphia 76ers, only 45% rostered on Yahoo. This is a longer-term play because Philly has only 2 games. So do not do this for streaming for next week. But Oubre is back as a starter, has started the last 7 games after that car accident that led to a rib injury. Last 5 games, 14 points, 4 rebounds, over 2.5 threes, 2.2 stocks while shooting a nice 47%. It made sense that he was slow coming back from that rib injury, but I think he's finally back. You know, everybody picked him up 10 games into the season before that car accident, and he's working his way back to maybe passing Tobias Harris as the number 3 scoring option on this Sixers team. Anyway, that's a long-term move, though. Kelly Oubre, don't play him next week.
I love Oubre as a pickup, Ken. As you mentioned, we're going to highlight him this week. I do wonder if he's going to stick in the starting lineup once the Sixers are healthy, because over these 7 games, Embiid missed some time, Melton missed some time, but 2 missed time. You know, so I'm curious if they're going to keep him, move him to a 6-man role long term, which wouldn't necessarily hurt his overall production, or keep him in the starting lineup. So that is one aspect to monitor. My second pickup is a guy who is just over the 50% mark, but I think his role is about to change a little bit. Jalen Suggs, guard for the Orlando Magic, 54% rostered on Yahoo. Orlando's dealing with some injuries. Franz Wagner just left a game because of an ankle injury on Wednesday night. He's been ruled out for Friday already. It's kind of to be determined how long he will sit. It's an ankle sprain. Depending on the severity of that ankle sprain, it could be a week. It could be a handful of weeks. We just don't know yet how long he's going to sit. And if Wagner sits, I think we're going to see Wagner.
No, I said, like I supported. Yes. Ooh,
oh, okay. Ooh. I thought we were going back to Oubre.
No.
Okay. If Franz sits, I like Suggs to see an increase in his usage. We saw that in the game that Franz had to leave early. A big all-around game from Suggs on January 3rd. He had 41 fantasy points, played 39 minutes, which I believe is a career high. 24 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks, and 6 3-pointers. 6 for 12 from downtown. It's been rare where Suggs would get 18 field goal attempts, but that's how many he saw on Wednesday. And if Franz is out, Franz has been the team's number 2 option behind Banchero. So if they need more scoring, you've already got Fultz is out for Friday, for instance. So you have Wagner out on Friday, Fultz out on Friday, Gary Harris out on Friday. This team's going to need more scoring.
Out.
Yep. Oh, how could I forget? Joe Ingles out on Friday. This team is going to need more scoring, and I expect Suggs to really step up. So if you're looking for a short-term streaming option, if you're in a shallow league, I think Suggs is a guy to pick up. But he should be rostered He should be rostered more than 50%, 54% of leagues by now.
When they were running a lot of the offense through Wagner, almost in a Grant Hill point forward capacity with Fultz out, which has been 3-4 weeks? I don't know. It seems like it's been forever. So they'll need Suggs is going to hold the ball a ton. The ball's going to go through his hands a ton.
Shannon's Alec Burks, another waiver wire staple. Shannon shaking his head. You don't love Alec Burks? Come on.
I'm not going to claim that one.
He's 9% rostered in Yahoo. Questionable for tonight, so that's just a quick heads up. If you're trying to stream him in tonight, beware of that. But the past 5 games for Burks, he's averaging 18.2 points, 3.4 threes, 2.6 boards, 1.0 assists in 26 minutes. He's had, let's say, varying fantasy relevance throughout this season. But when he's hot, when Monty Williams is playing him, you got to add him in 16-team leagues for sure. Shallower, kind of borderline. But it should be more than 9% while he's hot.
Toumani Camara of your Portland Trailblazers, only rostered in 3% of leagues. But Portland has 4 games tomorrow. Next week, 4 games next week. The second-round rookie has started for the Trailblazers since mid-November. And last 10 games, he's had boring but steady production of 8 points over 5 rebounds, 1.6 stocks, 1 3-pointer while shooting a nice 49% from the field. Again, this is our long shot for deep leagues, 16-team leagues. The minutes are there. You need minutes to be productive, and the Trailblazers have 4 games. If you're in a deep league, need to stream somebody because you got Brooklyn or Cleveland on your roster, Toumani Camara can get you by the next week. Who's your long shot, Shannon?
Yeah, our final suggestion for the week, Simone Fontecchio, starting small forward for the Utah Jazz. He impressed me. I watched him play against the Pistons. I've seen him play a handful of times this year, but he was brilliant against Detroit on Wednesday night. He's looked really good since returning to the starting lineup 3 games ago. Over that 3 games, he is averaging 17 points, 6.7 rebounds, 2.7 assists, 2 steals, and 2.3 3-pointers, 41% from downtown, 55 from the floor. If he sticks in the starting lineup, I think he's worth a look in most 12-team leagues, definitely 14-team leagues. I'm surprised that the Jazz went back to him, but I also was never a big believer of Markkanen being a small forward. I think he's a better fit at the 4. So if Fontecchio is available and you're in a 12, 14-team league, he's worth a look, especially if you need 3-pointers, and probably a good hold for as long as he stays in the starting lineup.